Hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome in to Sportz Blitz Live, brought to you by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. I am Andy Graham alongside Lou Robinson. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours, taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221. If you got anything you'd like to talk about, if you got any comments about any things that we say, or if you'd like to bring up a new subject, by all means, give us a call. We'd love to interact with you. There is a lot to talk about. Of course, Alabama had a big victory over Vandy in a tough one, 59-0. Auburn took care of Missouri, 51-14. Some SEC games around the country, NCAA games, a lot of those. Hey, by and by, Auburn's assistant basketball coach and associate head coach was arrested by the FBI yesterday and charged with bribery and conspiracy and a whole list of other things that sound very FBI-ish. Wow. I don't even know quite where to start with this one, but I just, if you hadn't heard already, I'm sure you probably have. We'll just kind of recap what's going on here. Auburn Associate Head Men's Basketball Coach Chuck Person has been charged with 6 counts of violation of federal law in an indictment announced today as part of a covert operation by the FBI. Person and Rashawn Michelle of Atlanta are charged with participating in a scheme to influence Auburn players and their families to use the services of a specific financial advisor in New York once they became professional players. Person is charged by the FBI with receiving approximately $91,500 in the scheme to use the services of the unnamed financial advisor, who is a cooperating witness for the FBI in the case, as well as for agreeing to help contact a coach at another university to be involved in the scheme as well. The charges include bribery, conspiracy, solicitation of bribes and gratuities, conspiracy to commit honest service fraud. Honest service fraud? Shouldn't it be dishonest service? Conspiracy to commit wire fraud and travel act conspiracy. There are actually 2 different cases that the FBI brought out today. One involves 4 assistant coaches, the one Chuck Person, of course, 3 other coaches, one at Arizona, one at Oklahoma State, one at USC, that are involved in similar activities, steering kids to agents and financial advisors. Then there's a separate investigation, but much the same, but it has to do with Jim Gatto, who is the, he's got a big title.
Head of marketing.
At Adidas. And he was in a scheme that he funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars to families and players, high school players, to get them to commit certain places, one of them being to Louisville. Brian Bowen, who committed there, pretty much he's the guy that was not mentioned, not by name, but everybody takes that to be who it was. Where do you want to go from here?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, part of me, of course, we're a reactionary society, and everybody wants to say how awful this is and how far-reaching this probably is. But I think we need to let this play out a little bit more before we go too deeply, because first of all, this is one of those weird times in sports or in news today when nobody saw this coming, man. Like, I'm pretty active on Twitter. I keep up with message boards. There was not an inkling that any of this was about to happen today. And about 9 o'clock, Twitter absolutely exploded. And I started reading it. At first I thought, okay, I'm misreading something in here. Or somebody misprinted. The FBI didn't arrest Chuck Person, but the FBI did arrest Chuck Person. Did you know he's looking at 80 years in prison maximum? 80 years, man.
I doubt he'll do that.
No, he won't do it, but there is something that seems a little bit off about it to me. Regardless, look.
So is that like what, about 15 years of count?
It's got to be something like that. Yeah. But I think he's not going to get 80 years. No. But he's never going to coach in basketball again. I think that's pretty obvious.
Probably not.
And then some other weird stuff. I mean, obviously, Rick Pitino has apparently come out and said, I didn't know anything about anything. He never knows anything, apparently. And that's how he always gets out of everything. But, when it comes down to the Auburn thing, look, Bruce Pearl hadn't been implicated in anything yet, obviously.
Just for the record, here's Auburn's response coming from the president's office. This morning's news is shocking.
Shocking.
Shocking. We are saddened, angry, and disappointed. We have suspended Coach Person without pay, effective immediately. We are committed to playing by the rules. That's why we've been so bad. And that's what we expect from our coaches. In the meantime, Auburn is working closely with law enforcement, and we will help them in their investigation in any way we can.
Okay, and first of all, welcome to Auburn University, President Leith.
Yeah.
Good luck with all this, with the softball stuff and the basketball stuff.
What do you think of your AD?
Other rumors of women's basketball stuff and women's soccer stuff. There's a lot going on, and Gus Malzahn just managing that whole mess right now. Good luck with all that. But look, nobody else has been implicated in anything but Chuck Person. So I guess you got that going for you. I don't really know. I'll say this, that it seems a little odd. Obviously, I think you can draw your own conclusions, but Auburn's had far and away the best recruiting I've ever seen them have since Chuck Person and Bruce Pearl have been there.
Sure.
And Bruce Pearl has had his issues in the past. Doesn't make him guilty this time. Doesn't mean he knew anything. He might not have. I don't know. Nobody knows, but you don't know he didn't either. And he's been a part, back in the 80s, he was on a GA on the Boston College team that had the point shaving deal. I know, and we can tilt our head and say, maybe that's coincidence. He had the barbecue thing at the NCAA, and he lied to the NCAA. Why lie about a barbecue? That's weird. But, okay, so we can tilt our head at that. And now here we are at Auburn, a place, I know you love it. I know a lot of people out there love it. Historically, it's either the worst or second worst basketball program in the SEC. There's no denying that. And
It's
somehow,
still one of the worst.
now it's still one of the worst, but it's not the worst anymore. But he's getting 5 stars and high 4 stars. He's getting a guy out of Connecticut or New York, and that only he and St. John's were recruiting. Somehow that's weird, a 5-star number 23 player in the country.
Would you really want to go to St. John's now, though?
No, I wouldn't want to go to St. John's either. That's what makes it even weirder. If you're the 23 player in the country, wouldn't you have more options than Auburn and St. John's?
You would think.
And yes, Austin Wiley had a lot of connections to Auburn. His mother is the all-time leading scorer in women's basketball history. His dad was a basketball player at Auburn on the men's side. But if you're a talented basketball player, a big man specifically, I don't care if you were the son of Pat Dye, and I guess Vicki Orr is probably the best example because she's the queen of Auburn. But why would you go to Auburn? They don't not known for developing NBA talent. I would say the same thing about somebody going to Alabama, frankly, over the last several years. They hadn't been known to put a lot of people in the NBA. You'd go to Duke. You'd go to North Carolina. You'd go to Michigan. You'd go to Michigan State. You'd go somewhere like that. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying there's a lot of coincidences out there that make you think.
Well, let's just talk about just from the Auburn perspective when we talk about the big picture and the national perspective of what this means for college basketball or the implications, because there are going to be some far-reaching implications. Is Bruce Pearl in danger? He could be. He's obviously saying that he was blindsided by this. Auburn is saying that they were blindsided by this. And there's a reasonable percentage to say that he didn't know. Because and I would say this, the way that if you watch the press conference from the Attorney General or the U.S. Attorney in New York, they basically said that, and they played it up like this, and they mentioned Chuck Person many times, more often than anybody else, to say that he basically didn't care about the kids. He was in it for himself. This was a selfish thing, and they hit that home so hard. And basically they were saying that he cheated his school and he cheated the kids and all this like they treated it like he was a rogue. That was the way it came across in their telling. Is that the case? We'll see.
Let's go ahead and take a call. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
This is Brian.
Hey, Brian. How you doing?
Got Alabama 38, the Ole Miss Rebels 14.
All right, buddy.
38-14.
38-14. We'll write it down, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, the random Alabama prediction in the middle of an Auburn basketball scandal, I dig it. But a couple other things today that, and maybe Chuck Person was a rogue guy, but
He's coming off as a scumbag.
He
Let's
is.
just
and
say that.
we'll get to that in a second. But here's the other thing. He was unquestionably Bruce Pearl's number 2 man. His right-hand man.
Associate head coach.
So, and Philip Marshall wrote today that he and Pearl had driven to Huntsville on Monday together to do some recruiting. So I think the arrest took both of them by surprise. I'd be willing to bet Chuck Person was we're surprised. I bet Chuck Person was real surprised. But there was also a tweet today, and again, it came from a New York Times writer. It may or may not be true. He just put that out there this afternoon, and he's been doing some more digging, been tweeting about it all day. He said a recruit told him a runner from Auburn had offered him $100,000 to sign with Auburn, but he signed somewhere else, which leads you to believe perhaps somebody else gave him more money, but also may be it's just another thing. Now,
just hold that thought, and we'll come. But we got to go to a break because this is a big conversation.
We got all this stuff on this paper, and we talked about this beforehand. We could talk about Alabama, Vandy all day, Auburn, Missouri all day.
I've done a lot of work for nothing.
I know.
We're up against the break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back to talk about this and so much more right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. At Main Street Family Urgent Care, we want you to know one of the benefits of our clinic. We have a self-pay option that allows you to get the most out of your visit. That means you don't have to worry about receiving a large bill after your visit. $125 covers all in-house labs, stitches, x-rays, or injections, and we have a selection of antibiotics available in the clinic. We want you to feel better fast at Main Street Family Urgent Care, open 7 days a week in Alexander City across the street from Walmart. Feel better fast.
So Dave here is taking the family up to the lake for the weekend, but without the white knuckles this time. Because his new 2018 Ford F-150 has Bliss with trailer coverage. It's Brainiac smart. Not only does it watch your F-150's blind spots, it's got your trailer covered too. One less thing to spoil the weekend. No, it can't make the fish bite, but maybe they'll work on that. This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, pal. It is the bar.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized E-Z-GO cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect E-Z-GO cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best E-Z-GO carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you until 9 o'clock. Taking your phone calls again. Love to hear from you. 256-234-6221. Talking about, of course, the breaking news of the day. Auburn associate head coach, assistant coach, /legend, Chuck Connors Person. Mother named him after the rifleman.
Speaking of he should have known something was up with this. Is it Michael or Michelle or whatever the guy's name? He's a financial advisor / suit maker. Yeah. I was like, that's never a good combo.
No, that's probably not true. Well, that's what you get with schemes like this.
That
you
is
want
exactly
this guy handling your money.
Like a double title that makes there's not a lot of synergy between them. You know, car salesman / dentist. That's not good.
You may lose all your money, but you'll look good doing it.
That's his motto. That's on his business card.
That is on his business.
But let's go back. We talked about this.
Well, let me just we're talking about the Auburn, and then we'll move on. But clearly, one of the guys talked about, alluded to, not by name, but I think we can all figure it out, is Austin Wiley.
I don't think there's any doubt.
According to these documents, these court documents, his family took money and to steer him toward this agent. Doesn't say that he took money to come to Auburn. Now, that may be kind of implied, but if you take money for one thing, why not take it for another? Okay, we can deal with that. You got to prove that, though, and that's the NCAA business, and quite frankly, they're inept. But, okay, so if that's proven to be true, then he's no longer playing for Auburn, right?
I mean, I think he's going to have a hard time playing for him in the future, yes. And really, Austin Wiley doesn't lose out here. Austin Wiley might just, if this is true, allegedly, okay, let's asterisk by all this that we're saying, both of us. Yeah. But he didn't really lose out much. I mean, he can just go to Europe, or he might get some kind of exemption to go to the NBA. Who knows what's going to happen?
The other guy there's two players talked about. You would assume the other is either Mustafa Heron or Danjel Purifoy.
Correct.
One of those two probably won't be playing for Auburn this year either.
I would think so, but again, we don't know.
Allegedly.
We don't know, and that's why you need to let some of this play out. But you and I talked about this off air, right? And this is one of those things where I wish we didn't know all we knew, okay? I'm an Alabama fan. I'm not going to pretend that I have all this great affinity for Chuck Person, but I will say this. I liked his game. I thought he was great. I don't necessarily have fond memories of the guy, but I liked his game. I can appreciate how good he was. I remember sitting in B.B. Sellers' doctor's office as a kid reading a Sports Illustrated article about they were like, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. And I think he did that year. And I remember thinking, dang it, that makes me mad that an Auburn guy's going to win it, but he's good. You know, they call him the Rifleman for a reason.
Took Auburn to the Elite Eight.
Yep. And so
lost to, ironically,
UNLV.
Louisville.
Oh, Louisville, that's right. They beat UNLV, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, point being, after all this is said and done, and we can talk about this, we don't really know anything yet, so we can talk about whatever, but we don't know anything concrete. It just makes me kind of sad. It makes me sad about sports in general. I get sad about seeing the war sports or the NBA and NFL is having right now with the President of the United States. From both sides, I get sad about things like this because, 24 hours ago, everybody, including most Alabama fans, had a pretty good thoughts about Chuck Person as a person. We thought he was a pretty good guy. And now, less than 24 hours later, there's probably nobody who isn't totally disgusted with it. I mean, Sonny Smith, his former coach, did come out and say, I'm not going to believe this until Chuck Person tells me that. You might be waiting a while, Coach, because I don't know if Person's going to tell you that himself, but it looks pretty bad. They got him on video. They got him wiretapped. They got a lot. They got texts.
You're going to have to go see him, Coach. He's not going to be able to come see you.
That's a good point. They're not going to bring him to you unless it's Hannibal Lecter style to tell you about this. You're going to have to go do it. But Yeah, I mean, and again, I hate that we know this much. I said even off air, it would have been better for all of us sometimes if they had just said, you know what, Chuck Person has retired, and we're not telling you any more than that. He's just retired. And then there you go. We don't have to worry about it. But now you just feel kind of bad about the direction of sports in general, because this does bring up on a larger conversation of, okay, yeah, Chuck Person did some scuzzy things apparently, right? But the kids that were involved in this and their parents knew about it. It's not like he just handed them money and they said, oh, what do we do with this? I mean, they were in on it. So they're not very good in this situation. The shoe companies obviously had something going on here. The agents or fake agents or whoever had something going on here. The schools were probably partially involved here, and the schools are definitely involved because the schools want to win so badly for their fans, because the fans demand it, that they're willing to overlook some things and hire coaches that may skirt the edges sometimes and then act completely shocked when things maybe go awry. Or they're willing to stick with coaches. And again, like allegedly Rick Pitino, he had the things with the prostitutes and I mean, come on. How many things do you have to be a part of before somebody says, you know, maybe it's just not all coincidental?
Well, hookers with recruits, that'll always get the headlines.
Or Hugh Freeze. You know, what are we all supposed to believe? Hugh Freeze is just the world's best recruiter that's ever been to a school that's not been much since the 1960s? I mean, Ole Miss was in the tank before he got there, and then they're getting Laquan Treadwell from Michigan. They're getting guys that Robert Kimdichie, the number 1 overall player in the country, going to Ole Miss. I mean, again, in Ole Miss, people were just willing to say, yeah, he's just that good, y'all. And he carries a Bible with him everywhere he goes. He can't be that bad. Maybe he is that bad. But I mean,
I take it his apology didn't really.
No, I'm just saying the whole thing makes you sad. I kind of just wish we'd go back to, Alabama's not good. Oh, Auburn's not good.
We can't go back.
I know we can't go back.
Unfortunately, we can't go back. And I don't know where I go from here.
Eddie Money told us that.
My disenchantment is growing, and I don't know. It's getting harder and harder to root for anybody. We're up against another break. What do you think? 256-234-6221. We'll be back with more Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, right after this.
Ask what makes it the best 3 Series ever, and we'll tell you it has more advanced suspension and steering, or even more control of the road. And it's near perfectly balanced to put performance first. But ask her for where the competition mimics us just to keep up? No comment. The BMW 3 Series.
Visit BMW of Columbus on Whittlesey Boulevard or shop bmwofcolumbus.com.
Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937, 866-837-6937, or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean.
TPE Power Equipment is now the trusted name for all your mower and power equipment needs. Whether it's our original Tallahassee location or Opelika location on Fredericks Road, we've got East Alabama covered with the best brands of mowers and power equipment from Husqvarna, Toro, Kawasaki, Echo, and Honda. Right now, get commercial strength Husqvarna zero-turn mowers with our fleet program that offers deep discounts, easy finance, and bonus handheld equipment in one solid package. TPE of Opelika and Tallahassee are the new standard of everything power equipment in East Alabama.
Lake Area Realty is Lake Martin's Century 21 real estate company that proudly serves all the Lake Martin area. Rhonda Gaskin and her staff of caring professional realtors offers full sales for buyers and sellers in the area and can even help you with finding rentals or managing your current property. Whether it's your dream lake home, waterfront property, area family home in town, or just a starter home, Lake Area Realty can handle it all and advise you on all your needs. Buying and selling real estate is important to the professionals at Century 21. Lake Area Realty are your friends in real estate. Call or visit lakearearealty.net.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Farnell Mechanical gives you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable.
Trust Farnell Mechanical to provide perfect air for your family.
What perfect feels like. Lennox.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime at the all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Every new and pre-owned vehicle, just $1 down. Plus credit amnesty. Bring home $350 a week, get up to $30,000 in credit.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
10 acres, 1,000 vehicles, just $1 down.
Folks, you've just got to see this place.
The all-new Opelika Ford and Opelika Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Call 800-NEXT-RIDE.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Advanced Heating and Air, your authorized East Central Alabama Train dealer. Call Advanced Heating and Air. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to go to the phone line now and welcome in our good friend Randy Lee Jr. Randy, how you doing?
I'm glad to be on here with you, Andy, and it's been a long time since we took about 60 comments today on our Auburn Blitz program.
Yeah, and a coach getting arrested by the FBI will do that.
Well, it will cause a rousing success on a call-in or a talk radio show if you have something like that break about 9 this morning, and I'm just now tuning into y'all, so I'm sure you've been talking about it a good bit. But it was...
Let me ask you this. Do you feel any different about it now that you've had 2 or 3, 4 hours to kind of simmer on it?
No different at all. It's almost expected. You know, I've been an Auburn fan my whole life, and an Auburn basketball fan at that. If it can go any more poorly than the decision to be an Auburn basketball fan has gone for me over the last 40 years, I'd have to rethink it. So it's about to be expected. Luke, I was interested. Had you heard anything was going to lead to this? Was this just out of the clear blue sky today to everybody?
Without a doubt. Andy and I talked about that earlier, and I said, it came across my Twitter about 9 o'clock before it really exploded, and I said, boy, this is weird. They must have really had a typo. I mean, Chuck Person arrested by the FBI, that doesn't even make sense. And then like 5 minutes later, it started making sense. But the whole thing is so screwy, and just like you said, yes, you should be completely disappointed, but it is very Auburn basketball-y for something like this to happen once you get your momentum going, because only Auburn basketball could have maybe the second most famous player in Auburn basketball history throw the first most famous basketball player in Auburn history under the bus while he's doing this, because Chuck Person was telling these people, hey, you should use this financial advisor / suit maker to handle your money because Charles Barkley uses him. I mean, and they're buddies. They were on the same teams. I mean, I can't believe he would do that, but that's what the FBI said he did, and they said they have him on tape doing it.
You know, you would think that there's a code out there, and there are things that are not to be expected, but here's the story to me. And the more that I've sat back, Andy, and to answer your question a little bit more, building on what our last segment was on Auburn Blitz today, this is not an NCAA investigation. This is a federal investigation. And no one involved with this, including Rick Pitino, down to the assistants, down to the rest of the story that's left to come out. Because if anybody, including you, Luke, thinks that there aren't a trillion more of these stories left to come out if the FBI is out there investigating it, we're clueless. It's going to get ugly. And I was a little bit taken back, and I'm interested in both of y'all's comments on this. It was so direct with those investigators up there today in the press conference that there's more to be heard.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the brink. If you have information, give it. If you don't give it, and we know you didn't give it, it's going to be worse on you than if you did. Just to hear the words and to hear the way that they came out on the press conference, I'd have to think back if I've seen something like that. Have y'all seen anything more direct, though?
The only thing I could equate it to was when the NCAA guy, and I can't remember his name, said Alabama was staring down the barrel of a gun. I remember those words just stuck with me and stuck with just about everybody. But this was maybe a little worse. They had flow charts. When they unveiled the flow charts, I said, oh boy, this is bad. I mean, like, they were already ready for every question you could possibly have, because you could tell there were some reporters that were going to say, okay, we don't really understand how this worked. They took off a little drape and said, here's our flow chart of how it worked. You knew that was bad then.
And then, you got, giving out a phone number on national television or on Facebook at that point, but that everybody's going to see, to say, call us if you got any information. I don't know a lot of, I don't watch a lot of U.S. attorney press conferences, but I'd say that's not very usual.
It is not. And also, there is not a coach anywhere not sweating right now, because here's the thing. I'd be willing to bet every coach from Auburn to Alabama to USC to UCLA to University of Seattle is thinking really hard about, okay, when I did that, was that a violation? Because I'm not really sure, but I better call. They might want to call and just announce things that weren't even violations. They might just call and say, I don't even know. Well, it's not violations necessarily, but crimes. But that is something, Randy, that was odd about the Chuck Person thing. If you've read the quotes that they laid out from him, Chuck Person, it's not like he can plead ignorance. He actually, one of his quotes was, okay, now, said recruit, don't tell anybody about this because this is a violation.
Very, very important.
It's very important. Don't talk about this violation because it's very damning to me and you.
It's what some people might call illegal.
Incriminating.
And we're dealing, again, back to my statement, we're dealing with the Fed. And this is not dealing, Luke, you have said it better than any of us. Dealing with the NCAA at this point in time, there's no bite. There's no teeth in anything. You just feel like you're going to get slapped on the wrist. And I'm not throwing Alabama under the bus or Auburn, but all of us have had violations over the last 10 years that have been a complete slap on the wrist that just get swept under the table. Unfortunately for Auburn's athletic program, this is not the only story that we're dealing with at this point. Andy and I pretty much start 2 days a week on the Auburn Blitz to go, any new news on the softball program? No, hadn't heard anything. Well, I guess that was a one and done. And the unfortunate aspect of that is that's not the only two either. There's plenty of more sitting out there. And it's a tough time. I don't know if this is the nail in the coffin for Jay Jacobs, but I think that the public sentiment's starting to at least sway that way, and that will be an interesting part of this. But back to the Feds, though, it's surprising that 2 years later, after 2 years worth of, here's my question to you, Luke, and I'd like your take because I asked Andy today. Do you feel like Bruce Pearl's past transgressions led to Auburn being checked out that early on in 2015? Chuck Person's past transgressions, what leads to Auburn? Maybe starting to recruit some players that Auburn clearly has not gotten in the past. Do you think that's what leads? I'm just interested in hearing of all programs to be checking into Auburn basketball.
Well, first of all, the Feds set up this sting, and Chuck Person fell for it. So I think that's one reason. Gotcha. But number two, I think that Bruce Pearl's past is a factor here. And I don't know necessarily with the Feds because what he's done before isn't some sort of crime. But I think that like I said, the coincidences are starting to add up. He's a graduate assistant on the Boston College team that's shaving points. He's having the barbecue at Tennessee, which apparently was no big deal, but he felt compelled to lie about it to the NCAA. And it turned out to be a big deal because he did lie about it. And now, here we are with his right-hand man, unquestioned number 2 guy is at Auburn basketball is Chuck Person. And here he is doing all this, and we're supposed to believe Bruce Pearl had no knowledge of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe he didn't, but maybe he did. The other thing I'm going to say really quickly, Randy, about this, the NCAA may have to get involved, but I think the NCAA basketball tournament is their big money maker. It's the only thing that really makes money because the conferences own football, right? And they make money. The SEC makes money. The NCAA doesn't make money. But in the NCAA basketball tournament, that's where they make their hay. So are they about to be putting up, maybe that's why they hadn't really enforced all these rules with schools that have been known to be getting in trouble with basketball, or at least alleged to be getting in trouble with basketball, because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. And now they may be forced to do something, and the next thing you know, it may be Alabama State playing Monmouth for the NCAA basketball championship in a few years.
Andy, one more quick question before I go, because I want to hear your take on this. And you ask a good question. I didn't think it was when you first asked it more. I sit back and I say, how have I sat back for the last 3 or 4 hours and changed my stance? I'm going to play devil's advocate here with you as an Auburn fan. Chuck Person, being the best basketball player, if not second best, you can throw Charles Barkley up there. Is there a part of you that wonders if Chuck Person was pushed to be part of this staff with Bruce Pearl, one? Was he pushed to be part of this staff with Bruce Pearl by higher-ups, being two? And is there any part of you that if that's the case, and there is some part of Bruce Pearl that is not actively involved in this situation, does he come across as a guy that you don't think will spill the beans? He doesn't. I don't feel Bruce Pearl is going to go silently in the night. And if that's the case, look out would be what I would say. Who knows where their story's going to go?
We got to run, take a break. Let me ponder that, and when we come back, I'll try to answer those questions.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Randy. Up against another break, but don't go anywhere. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
When enjoying the lake this season, make sure to drop by Harbor Point Marina for all your gas, snacks, boating supplies, and beverage needs. Harbor Point also wants you to come see our remaining 2017 Crest pontoons, priced to move at all-season pricing. Harbor Point Crest sales have been tremendous, and they're ready to unload their remaining 2017 Crest Tritoons to make way for the 2018 order. Come see the best in pontoons at our 2017 season closeout prices. Act now because inventory is limited, and enjoy your new Crest pontoon this year. For all your own water needs and sacrifice pricing on Crest pontoons, get to the point. Harbor Point at Still Waters on Lake Martin.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gills. Selection and price, got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Gotta get to Gills. Selection and price. Gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
Bills Electric is your local expert for LED lighting retrofits for commercial and industrial applications. Bills Electric can survey your facility and develop lighting retrofit solutions utilizing the latest in LED technology and controls. In many cases, energy savings alone can generate a payback of 2 years or less. Additionally, LED lighting has an expected lifespan of up to 100,000 hours. Call the Lamborns today at 256-234-4555.
At A&M Plumbing, you can count on us for dependable quality service. Our staff is professional, neat, clean, and courteous. We're a fully licensed and insured plumbing company. Call on A&M Plumbing for any plumbing, sewer, or septic problems. We provide a comprehensive line of plumbing repair and installation services to keep your home's plumbing systems in top order. When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing. Service at its best, when you need it most.
Summertime means savings time during the summer clearance event at Bice Motors. Save over $8,200 on a great selection of loaded new 2017 Chrysler 200 Limiteds. Was $25,705, now $17,500. Need a truck? Bice has new 2017 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Express 4x2s for $299 a month.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
Don't miss the summer clearance event going on now. BiceChryslerDodge.com.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
We'll continue our talks about the Chuck Person situation, and I'll get to Randy's comments in the next segment. But right now, we want to go to the phone line and welcome in our special guest, David Johnson with Rebels 24/7 to talk about Alabama and Ole Miss this upcoming Saturday. David, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, glad to do it, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, it kind of an untenable situation at Ole Miss coming into the season with the Hugh Freeze situation and everything that went down. Now an interim coach. I don't know what the expectations were, but what do you think you like about the season so far? What do you think you don't like?
Well, I tell you what, 3 games in, I mean, obviously you like that offense, even though it kind of derailed out at Cal 2 weeks ago. But it's an explosive play offense. I mean, there's a quarterback operating it in Shea Patterson, who is very talented, and he's got one of the best group of wide receivers in the Southeastern Conference. So you like that about this team because on any given night they can outscore you. What you don't like, obviously, is just the situation that this Ole Miss program is in right now. The environment that they're having to soldier through this season in with the interim label on the coaching staff. NCAA penalties awaiting the program at the end of the line. That's never conducive to being able to put something good together. So they're having to battle that and try to keep that out of the football building. And with each and every loss that this team sustains, I mean, there's more and more speculation on who's going to be coaching it next year. Will this staff remain? Will it be a total flushing of this staff and a new staff in? Those are the things you don't like. You're kind of worried about that defense a little bit. I still don't know that it's been tested. It played better out in California than it did the previous 2 games, but it has not looked stellar by any stretch of the imagination, and it will be tested Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Everyone knows that.
What is the overall mood at Ole Miss now that they did get that first loss under their belts? They started out 2-0, and they didn't look fantastic in either of the 2 wins, but they were wins. And now that they've had that loss, is the reality of the situation, meaning, no bowl game forthcoming, is that sunk in? Do you feel like there's a worse mood, or do you feel like everybody's still okay right now?
I think everything's in a holding pattern. I mean, obviously you would feel much better if you were coming off that Cal loss and you were playing Vanderbilt as opposed to Alabama. I think there's and not within the program, but amongst the fan base, I think there's a sense of dread, to be honest with you. Alabama, if they haven't peaked yet, Lord help everyone else on their schedule, because Saturday it looked like a football team that was in mid-season form. But inside the building, I mean, it's we're going to go over here and we're going to give it, the best effort that we possibly can. just as they did in 2014 and in 2015, and look up at the end of the night and see what the scoreboard is. I mean, and that's what you would expect out of the team. But amongst the fan base, I would call it dread. Just to be totally honest.
I personally think A.J. Brown is the best wide receiver in the conference and maybe in the country. I think he's unbelievable. How's his health coming into this game?
Yeah, there's a little bit of fog around that right now. Matt Luke, the interim head coach, said yesterday at the press conference that it would probably be a game-time decision. I don't think he was hedging on that. I think it's actually probably going to be a game-time decision. Probably feel a little bit better about A.J. Brown playing than Sean Rawlings, the starting center. But you're exactly right. He's a huge part of that offense. And I'll tell you where Brown really comes into play. Everybody that's seen Shea Patterson operate with the football in his hands, they realize he likes to improvise. And he is most dangerous when he's on the run, rolling outside that pocket. And A.J. Brown is probably his best go-to target in those kind of situations. If you watch A.J. downfield as things like that are happening, he's constantly working to get open and to be that target. He doesn't stop until the whistle blows, and I think that's what you miss the most out of A.J. Brown. There's a capable backup in that slot for Ole Miss in Van Jefferson, but he's not the mismatch that A.J. Brown is in the slot. And again, Brown and Patterson have some outstanding chemistry on those plays that may look like they're going to be a bust, and Shea can turn them into something. And if Ole Miss is going to have a chance to stay in the game with Alabama Saturday night, you're going to have to see a lot of that out of Shea Patterson.
One final question, and we'll let you go. Hugh Freeze made his first. Hugh Freeze made his first public, announcement or statement about everything that happened. How do you think that came across to the Ole Miss people? Ole Miss faithful.
The people in the state of Mississippi are very forgiving people. So I think you've got a large segment of folks that appreciated the fact that he finally addressed the fan base in light of his transgressions. But you also have an element out there that I think has completely washed their hands of Freeze and probably have a better idea than others of the damage he inflicted upon the Ole Miss football program during his tenure here. And it's likely damage that it's not going to be fully recognized, Andy, in all honesty, 4 or 5 years down the road.
I feel for you. I do. David Johnson from Rebels 24/7. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, Andy. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate
Thank you, buddy.
it. Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Aldridge?
U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
In car ads, what is this? It discloses what you're not going to get that you thought you were. At Hyundai of Auburn today, buy a Santa Fe SUV, get $4,250 bonus cash, period. Here's our disclosure.
Hyundai of Auburn's your straight talk dealer. $4,250 to spend however you'd like. Plus, most Hyundai of Auburn cars are built locally. Free major repairs for 10 years, supporting the local economy and thousands in bonus cash to spend. Compare HyundaiofAuburn.com.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Appreciate David Johnson from Rebels 24/7. Great job. Dread looking for. I don't blame him. Looking forward to playing Alabama. But just to go back quickly to what Randy said in the previous segment about Chuck Person, you know, when Chuck's been looking for a head coaching job in college for a long time, and this is how I see all this thing playing out. It may not be this way, but this is kind of how I envision it. He wanted the job at Auburn. He didn't get it, but he's a very high-profile name. As he said to the recruits, I coached Kobe Bryant. I worked with Phil Jackson. Yada, yada, yada. You know, I was a great NBA player. My name still carries some cachet. So it was kind of an easy fit, I think, when Bruce Pearl got the job. Was he pushed on him? I think Bruce Pearl's got enough, even begging to, you know, even lowering himself to come to Auburn. He still had enough to say, I'm going to make my own staff. But now, you know, I think it also speaks to, and the more that comes out about this, it may speak to the desperation of debt because apparently Chuck has squandered all of his NBA money. Now, through what? I don't know. Bad investments, women, wine, women, and song. I don't know. But it sounds like he was, and his salary at Auburn wasn't getting it done.
Well, there was a famous politician that said, if you bait that trap with beer and women, you'll catch me every time. that may be what happened, but who knows? But yeah, it was like it sounded like a loan for a relatively small amount. I mean, less than $100,000 plus or minus, right? I mean,
I thought that was like just how they paid him. They'd give him the loan of $50,000, and it basically like every time he got a player, they'd knock off so much.
That's
money.
right. But that's what I'm saying, and but he obviously needed that money up front. You know what I mean? It's just. It's odd because this is a guy that I don't know, and I don't want to pretend to speak to his finances, but that just seemed like an odd way to go about it.
Well, I mean, breaking news, a lot of former athletes are broke.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
But he's also he had to be making, I don't know, $300,000, $400,000 as assistant head coach, the top assistant head coach at Auburn basketball?
Sure.
Maybe $500,000? I mean, I'm pulling numbers out here, but it wasn't chump change.
No.
And you really, when you're a coach at Auburn, you're not paying for anything. You get to eat out whatever you want. You get to drive in a car wherever you want to go. All your gas is paid for. I mean, what are you paying for?
Rashawn Michelle was his financial advisor. What do you think? Let's talk about other things. Talk about some, I don't know, football. Alabama beats Vandy 59-0. These stats are just, They're quite hilarious to me. 93 plays Alabama ran. Vandy ran 38. I don't know if I've ever seen a team ran 38 plays.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Alabama had 38 first downs. As many first downs as Vandy had plays, Vandy had 3 first downs.
1 by penalty, which was totally bogus.
1 run, 1 pass, 1 by penalty. You ought to be embarrassed for giving up that 1 rushing first down.
I was. I bet you Saban was. It's going to come up in the film study.
677 total yards for Alabama, 78 for Vandy.
It's the widest discrepancy in Alabama history.
496 yards rushing for Alabama, 40 for Vandy.
And then they kneeled the ball 3 times inside the 5 to lower their total below 500.
Oh, my. 9 of 15 for third down for Alabama, 1 of 10 for Vandy.
And again, the 1 was penalty.
And, look, I think Alabama's got some serious issues. They only had 2 tackles for loss.
When you only have 38 plays, it's not that bad. I went to the game. It was the hottest I've ever been. And I think it was also hot based on my perception of what the weather should have been like. Mid-September, kind of late-ish September. I'm thinking, go to Vandy. A hot day will be 84 degrees. It was 98, on the thermometer, and it felt like 118. It was so hot, people were just miserable. And it was, I'm not being hyperbolic here. I'm telling the truth. It was 80% Alabama people. Vandy people were just selling tickets. They were like, I have a chance to make money. And they're better at that than we are. They're smarter. I don't mind saying it. They're smarter than everybody. Vandy's smart. And so they realized they chanced to capitalize because Alabama brought everybody, and it's an easy, fun road trip that you can take the family to and get away with a win. I said this all last week. Alabama's going to blow Vandy's doors off because Vandy, not so much because Alabama is that good, although they looked incredible, because Vandy had no idea how to deal with a big win over Kansas State. And they had no business winning the game either.
That was it.
Well, that's part of it, because they had no business winning that game either. K-State had 2 touchdowns called back, and everything that could go wrong went wrong for Kansas State. Vandy somehow backed out of there with a win, and they were on cloud 20. Not cloud 9, cloud 20. And then Alabama rolls in, and Vandy just thought, we can play with anybody. No, you can play with Kansas State, and that's your ceiling.
On Friday, Vandy's defense was ranked number 1 in the country. Today, they're ranked 31st in the country. Friday, Vandy's rushing defense was 28th in the country. Today, they're 107th.
I didn't even know that one. That's good.
Let's see. The rest of them are just...
But I think Alabama had 7 players with more than 40 yards rushing.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. But I did feel bad, too, for Vandy, because at the very end, Ronnie Clark, who's been at Alabama seemingly forever, he's from Calera, good athlete, good player, and he's played every position he possibly played. I think he tore his Achilles twice, maybe. But he's out there at running back now, obviously way down the depth chart. He's getting all these carries. He's getting chunks of yardage. He gets down to the 2 with about 2 minutes left. And Saban just says, just go ahead and start taking a knee. And you can see the players begging him, let Ronnie Clark score. And Saban's like, look, I'm in a no-win situation here. I can hand it to this guy that's stuck with us forever, but it's rubbing it in. But if I kneel it, it also looks like I'm rubbing it in inside the 5. There was nowhere to go. But Tua Tagovailoa, I feel a lot better about Alabama's backup quarterback situation. I know, again, it was against Vandy and it was late in the game and blah, 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 and maybe they had backups in, even though I don't think they did because I'm not sure Vandy's got backups. But he looked pretty strong, and I feel he's obviously a better passer than Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's not a Alabama fan that can deny that, but still, Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts, and he's lost 1 game in the national championship game, and that's it. So he's the starter. Tua's the backup, but Tua's going to get some more opportunities, I think, starting this weekend because Ole Miss can't stop anybody either, and I feel like Alabama's going to get out in front pretty early, and Tua's going to get to come in there and show his wares again. And when he does, the crowd's going to go nuts because if there's anybody that Alabama fans love more than Nick Saban or Bear Bryant, is whoever the backup quarterback is.
We are up against a break here, but when we come back, I don't know what you're doing, but you make sure that you're in front of your television because we have an announcement that's going to blow your doors away. Okay? If your kids are in bed, wake them up, fill them full of coffee. They don't want to miss this. Unbelievable. The announcement we're about to unveil. More to come on Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At US AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, US AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the US AmeriBank difference. US AmeriBank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Lex Wedgeworth has been the most trusted pest control company for a generation, and now we're proud to announce our new name, EnviroCare. You can expect the same high standards for all your pest control needs, and EnviroCare's exclusive Sentricon termite colony elimination system that provides the industry standard to protect your home or business. The EnviroCare Sentricon termite protection protects your home year-round. Call the professionals of EnviroCare throughout Central East Alabama. Call for a free estimate. Nobody cares like EnviroCare, the next generation of full pest control for your home or business.
A1 Four Seasons, a division of Jackson Refrigeration, is Central Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With the summer months approaching, the temperatures are rising, and so will your power bill if you don't have one of the latest 410A heat pumps. With R22 Freon prices on the rise, now is the time to make the switch to a new, more efficient unit that will save you hundreds of dollars on your yearly power bill. Call A1 Four Seasons at 256-234-4457. What's behind the CA?
A world full of opportunities.
Where are you now? Where are you going?
Where do you want to be?
These are all important in determining your path in life.
More importantly, why be ordinary
when you can be extraordinary?
At Central Alabama Community College, you can be anything you wish to be.
Don't put your future on hold, and don't settle for less than excellence.
We are Central Alabama Community College.
Central to you.
Central to your success.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Okay, everybody, turn your television up a little bit. I don't want you to miss a single word of this.
They're not ready for it, Andy.
You sure? Okay.
Okay.
Kowaliga Country, 97.5, WAXC TV, and Sportz Blitz Live invite you to the biggest Bud Light grand opening party Central and East Alabama has ever seen. Friday, October the 6th at the Wild Wing Cafe in Auburn or Opelika. Auburn, Opelika /
Auburn or Opelika.
No matter. Get ready to win tickets to the biggest college football games inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. Tickets to see the sold out, by the way, Garth Brooks concert in Atlanta. Tickets to see Sarah Evans live at the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel in Wetumpka. Tickets to see the Minnesota Vikings take on the Atlanta Falcons live in Atlanta. Tickets to Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs at Talladega, and so much more. It is the biggest Bud Light grand opening party Central and East Alabama has ever seen. And everyone is invited next Friday, October the 6th. When, Luke? Friday, October the 6th at 5 p.m. Compliments of Bud Light, Wild Wing Cafe in Auburn/Opelika, home of hot wings, cold Bud Light, and good times. Where's JJ? Sportz Blitz Live, WAXC TV, and Kowaliga Country, 97.
We'll give you a minute to gather yourself.
That's a lot to take in.
We were trying to build this up as big as we can, guys. But that is a big deal. I was sitting there thinking, man,
some great prizes.
I'd love to go to that Falcons-Vikings game. Did you see Dalvin Cook killed it for the Vikings this last week?
Well, that was fun. So funny. It said tickets to see the Minnesota Vikings take, and I thought it was going to say take a knee versus the Atlanta Falcons.
That's a whole other segment. We talked about this before the show. We could have 2 hours on the president versus NBA, NFL, and the knees and or standing or the Villanuevas or all of it. Or we could take 2 hours easily and talk about Chuck Person. Yeah. Or we could take 2 hours easily and talk about Alabama, Auburn, SEC football. But right now, we're going to talk about Players of the Week.
They're the most important.
We're going to start with the Lee Apparel Player of the Week.
These kids don't play for money.
They do not, and they stand. The Lee Apparel Sportz Blitz East Alabama Player of the Week is Titus Smith-Lindsay from Oxford. Rushed 20 times for 265 yards and 5 touchdowns in the 43-0 win over Albertville.
The LMG River Region Player of the Week is Reese Solar, out from Alabama Christian Academy. He carried the ball 21 times for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns and completed 12 of 21 passes for 150 yards and 1 TD in the 35-21 win over Trinity.
The Lyman Ward Military Academy AISA Player of the Week is Tucker Nevins from Macon East. He completed 18 of 24 passes for 237 yards and 3 touchdowns in the 34-7 win over Springwood.
The Concrete Talladega County Player of the Week, Kylan Cross from Talladega County Central. The senior running back rushed for 229 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 7 carries in a 54-42 win over Victory Christian. Now, that's a heck of a day.
And when you do it over a team called Victory,
yeah,
it's even better. The Russell Building Supply and Russell Do-It Center AHSAA Radio Network Player of the Week is Telia Tungavailoa. Now, I believe I'm saying that right. I talked about this young man on the Inside the HSA program today, and I want to say it's Telia Tungavailoa, but I'm not 100%. I know he's to his brother, and he's the quarterback at Thompson, and he passed for 402 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 3 quarters as the unbeaten Warriors downed Oak Mountain 49-14. They got a big game against Pelham this week.
The Sign Source Lake Martin Player of the Week is Kadori Glenn from Dadeville High School. Glenn rolled off a big night with 275 rushing yards in the Tigers' 48-26 win against Holtville. Glenn also added 3 rushing touchdowns from 50, 61, and 63 yards out. That's the definition of a big play threat.
It is. And the Interlink Mortgage Services Lee County Player of the Week is Jaheim Greer from Notasulga. The sophomore two-way starter dominated on defense with 25 tackles, 8 for loss in a 46-6 win against Otaugaville. He also added a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. He had 25 tackles, and as you said, Vandy only had 38 plays.
You know, Randy's always talking about how he loves high school sports. That's his deal. He loves college sports too, but really high. You know, that ain't a bad way to be. Yeah. Because I mean, this is when it's still got some purity to it. I mean, certainly it's filtered down a little bit into high school with recruiting and things like that, but you know, on an average Friday night, you go out and you know, nobody's signing something back deal.
There really isn't anything better than small town really Alabama high school football. I mean, it really isn't. I mean, that's because that's the event, that's the thing, and it's a big deal and it's a lot of fun. And you're right. And you know, on one hand, you're thinking, God, I'd rather see the big boys play and whatever. And on the other hand, I mean, in times like today, you think I enjoy the purity of the sport like that.
Told him today I was going to become a Mountain Union fan.
Okay.
Or a Wisconsin Whitewater. No scholarship.
Well, you take one side, I'll take the other.
That's
you tell me
good.
who you want.
I'll go Union.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go ahead and take another break, but we'll be back with more Sportz Blitz Live right after these messages.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Now is the best time to see the good guys the locals know, Alex City Marine. With last year being our best year yet, Landau Pontoons has increased Alex City Marine's allocation of Landaus for the 17 season. Our Suzuki outboard selections are at an all-time high. Alex City Marine is now also Lake Martin's exclusive Manitou pontoon dealer with a full line of the luxurious Manitou Tri-Tune with patented V-Tune technology for top performance. Get the best selection now of Landau and Manitou pontoons. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin.
Whether it's a dream house or corporate real estate, Concrete has the skill, expertise, and talent to exceed your expectations. Trust Concrete to build a foundation for your future. Our work ethic and dedication are always in keeping the competition on their toes. We specialize in residential and commercial development in the Coosa, Talladega, and Shelby County areas. Call us today for your next project, 256-245-4211, or check us out on the web at con-crete.com.
There is a strength inside you, unknown and imperfect, waiting. And when you think you have nothing left to give, when each obstacle in your path is more formidable than the last, that's when you'll find it. And with that strength, your greatness will have no limits.
Summertime means savings time during the summer clearance event at Bice Motors. Save over $8,200 on a great selection of loaded new 2017 Chrysler 200 Limiteds. Was $25,705, now $17,500. Need a truck? Bice has new 2017 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Express 4x2s for $299 a month.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
Don't miss the summer clearance event going on now. BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. Turning our attentions to more controversy in the sports world, the NFL/NBA versus Donald Trump kneeling for the national anthem. This started with Colin Kaepernick, and it has taken on a life of its own now, I think. You have entire teams doing it now, I think, just despite Donald Trump.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I don't even know what to feel about it anymore. I mean, in my heart, I think everybody should stand up for the national anthem. That being said, there have been people that said, you know, how many times have you been at a concession stand when the anthem's playing and you just keep buying your stuff? And my initial reaction to that is, well, yeah, but I mean, I kind of forgive that because, you know, you're in the middle of a transaction, you know? But there's a point there. And And the other point is that when Kaepernick started all this, and I was against Kaepernick's doing this, I don't mind saying that. When he started all this, though, apparently he consulted somebody that was in the military that was a friend and said, look, I want to do something, but I don't want to offend the military. And so when he started doing this, he was actually seated, not kneeling. And his buddy told him, look, we would be less offended if you would at least kneel and not just sit. Kneeling somehow makes this better. And I know or a lot of the country doesn't think it makes it better. I'm not sure I think it makes it better. I know I don't like it, but I get where he's coming from. But I feel like now this thing's exploded, and a lot of people don't even know what they're kneeling for anymore. I think the point's been made. If the point initially was, I want to draw attention to police brutality towards minorities, if that was the initial point, I think that point was made. I'm not saying you should agree or disagree with it. I'm just saying that point was made, and now we're well past a year of this thing, and I think it's time for all of us to move on and heal, and I wish we could go back to all standing. That being said, I'm a middle-class white male. My point of view may not be as valid as somebody who's African-American or a minority. I don't know. I know this. I know I don't like seeing it, but I understand where they're coming from. I'm more middle ground on this than a lot of people. It has been one of the most divisive things in our country, which is kind of weird because there are a lot of things that should be more divisive than this. I know this too. I don't necessarily like President Trump tweeting about it. I don't like this being on his list of concerns. I would prefer he be more concerned with things that are bigger issues. But I've seen, it's so weird, everybody seems so concerned about the military. I've seen several military people say, this doesn't bother me. I've seen some of them say it bothers me a lot. And I wasn't in the military, so I don't really know that I can offer an opinion there. I can't speak for anybody that was in the military. I don't really know what to think about it anymore, and that's why I think the whole thing is kind of lost.
Well, when it started, it was one guy, and it was, 2 or 3 guys, and, I'm like you, that's just one thing. It's kind of universal. You just don't mess with the flag, the United States flag or the anthem. You can do a lot of things. You can insult a lot of things. But I mean, for whatever it is, I mean, you can be from this state, that state. You can be this color, that color. You can be whatever. You can be old. You can be young. But at the end of the day, you could all say we're Americans, and that kind of symbolizes that, and it always has. And it's not just the military. I think a lot of people feel that way. And and now that it's I don't think there's any question that Donald Trump has made it worse because he has antagonized people, rightly or wrongly, and people in the NFL have banded together. Now, in their zeal to say, hey, we'll show you, I think they're alienating the fans that actually, keep the sport going. So I think it would be naive to say that, all of a sudden, now I think they're going to lose some viewership. They're going to lose some ticket holders over this for this season anyway. But I mean, it would have to take. I mean, it would have to be hundreds of thousands of fans stop going to games for anything
it's not
to
even
really happen.
Going to the games isn't the money maker necessarily.
No.
I mean,
it's merchandise, it's TV. It's watching it at home. Now, I have not watched a single NFL game this year.
Well, but see,
not because of
do
anything,
you do
just
fantasy
because
league?
No.
See, I do fantasy football, and I don't have an NFL team I pull for. I don't pull for the Falcons. I pull for them, but I don't really care if they win or lose. I pull for them because they have Julio Jones and Courtney Upshaw. I enjoy watching Amari Cooper play, except this last Sunday when he only got me 1.6 points. But when I saw, for instance, last night, it was so funny. There was an erroneous story out there all over Facebook about Jerry Jones apparently being quoted as saying, "You're going to stand for the anthem or I'm going to cut you." Number one, he didn't say that. Like, they debunked that whole thing. But everybody shared it like he actually did say it. And then last night he actually knelt. But he knelt before the anthem. They all knelt before the anthem and all stood for the anthem. I can get on board
See,
with
that's a purposely
to me,
for
that's
Donald
fine.
Trump.
I'm fine with that. I'm not saying you should agree or disagree with it, but as far as a protest goes, that's not disrespectful.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. And look, again, this just hits home with so many people because they feel like they're being poked in the eye about being patriotic when there are a lot of ways that people disrespect the flag that go really undiscussed. And I know that some people burnt their season tickets. I saw it on Facebook. People were taking their season tickets and burning them. Hey, look, if you want to do that, again, that's your right too. But I'm not going to quit watching football because I love it. And frankly, I don't know how much longer we're going to have it. Because of CTE, because of all of our divisiveness all over everything, I'm going to enjoy football while we still have it. Am I disappointed in some of the players? I thought it was very cool that the Villanueva guy from Pittsburgh, he came out there by himself and stood for the anthem. But then, he came out and said, I feel bad for doing that because I felt like I threw my teammates under the bus. So even a man who served in the military, this guy, and now he plays pro football, that went out there by himself to take a stand saying, I'm going to stand for the flag, even he felt conflicted afterwards, which tells me this whole thing is a big, giant gray area. This is not black and white. Everybody wants to make it black and white. You're either patriotic or you hate America. That's not the way this is. This is a big gray area that is very difficult for people who aren't on one end of the spectrum to put their hands around. I'm going to stand for the anthem. And it doesn't mean I'm not pro everybody being treated the same. It's just that's what I think you should do, and I'm going to do it. And if I want to protest about something, I'll do it some other way. But if you want to protest by not watching the NFL, hey, I think that's cool. The NFL, quite frankly, has been pretty boring this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes back to, it's your right to do it. Everybody's got, free speech and all this kind of thing, but you have to accept the backlash that comes with it. I mean, for everybody that, for the whole Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. Well, I mean, sometimes taking a stand costs you. That's kind of the way it is. Muhammad Ali went to jail.
That's right. And again, he's not Muhammad Ali, too.
No.
Let's also get that out of the way. Kaepernick isn't Muhammad Ali.
No.
And if Kaepernick were a good enough quarterback, look, the NFL has had people that have committed sexual assault and murder and
You're
all
not
types of
helping
other
their
things.
cause.
No, I'm just saying they will give you a second chance if you're good enough.
Yeah.
And they will put up with the backlash if you're good enough. They put up with Ray Lewis. They put up with Michael Irvin. They put up with Randy Moss. They put up, on down the list. They'll put up with all that junk if you're good enough. But if you're not good enough, they're like, we got to weigh it's risk and reward. And if everybody else, again, somebody else brought up a great point. If ESPN's so in love with Kaepernick, hire him as an analyst. That'd be fine with me. I mean, and there'd be some people that boycott ESPN. Well, they can do that too. I don't watch a lot of ESPN unless college football's on anyway.
People have already boycotted ESPN.
Because it's kind of a hard watch.
It is. Up against another break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Looking for the area's best one-stop shop? Foshi's Watts is where to go. Foshi's Watts has non-ethanol gas for you boaters and you lawn care guys. Although cutting the grass is less fun than going to the lake, you can also get live bait and tackle, cold beverages, and they have fresh biscuits starting at 5 a.m. and the best candy prices in town. You can even fill your propane tank and get a bag of everybody's favorite pellet ice for only $1.50. Get it all at Foshi's Watts on Dadeville Road in Alex City, the area's best one-stop shop. Lakeside Marina and Watercraft Rentals have spring fever and are happy to announce that Bennington is back. Lakeside Marina at Blue Creek is now Lake Martin's Bennington pontoon dealer with all models of Bennington pontoons that deliver speed, power, and stability with their elliptical sport packages and best-in-class styling and luxury. See the full line now for best selection as well as the all-new personal watercraft from Kawasaki. Lakeside Marina at Blue Creek, #1 for a reason. Lakeside Marina is also your authorized Easy Go kart dealer for Lake Martin.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
LMG Advertising Agency offers a comprehensive marketing solution tailored to each of our clients' needs. We are a full-service marketing firm offering website design and development, video production, social media marketing, search engine optimization, and overall branding that includes logo design, brochures, mailouts, and more. Our experienced team of marketing professionals would love to come up with a marketing strategy that will deliver results for you and your business. Learn more at lmgadagency.com or call today to start at 256-825-0197.
Whether it's a walk-off home run, a game-winning touchdown, or a buzzer beater, make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup. Located in downtown Sylacauga and a short drive from Highway 280, Jay's has the food you're looking for. Whether it's wings, fingers, burgers, or salads, they have it all. Come bring your family for a great meal, come hang out with your friends for the big game, or call them at 256-207-0700 to place your order. Make sure Jay's Sports Grill is in your lineup.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Peaches and Clean, caring for your floors and a whole lot more in East Central Alabama.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live. We're going to go to the phone line now. Welcome in Paul Jones from Bulldogs 24/7. Talk a little bit about the Auburn-Mississippi State matchup coming up this Saturday. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime, guys. How are you doing?
Doing really well. I guess first off, you know, I guess Auburn's fans are asking the same question Mississippi State fans are asking. Who is the real Mississippi State? Is it one that we saw against LSU or the one we saw against Georgia?
Probably somewhere in the middle. You know, I don't think they're as good as they looked against LSU, but I don't think they're as bad as they looked against Georgia. Somewhere in the middle, and of course that's where the season will dictate and will give us a better answer. But you know, I thought a couple of things. You know, as Georgia, they just got beat at every position on the field. I think Georgia was better than what they were prepared for. Not to say that they didn't prepare for Georgia, but I think that environment, which is similar to the environment they will see Saturday, but I think that road environment and coming off that big win was a little bit too much for them mentally. And when you get down 14-0, it's hard to come back. Of course, like I said, it'll be the same case Saturday. The back end of that tough three-game stretch that everybody pointed to coming into the season. So that's another factor because you've had two physical football games and you're about to have another physical football game on Saturday.
Well, having seen them both up close and personal, what do you think the differences are between LSU's defense and Georgia's defense?
Talent, to put it simple. I think Georgia is quicker, a lot faster than LSU's front line. I think LSU has good starters and talented starters, but they're big. They don't move near like Georgia does, and I don't think they have near the depth that Georgia does, and the linebackers. That's it's tough enough to defend Georgia's front line and that defensive group, but when you've got linebackers like Roquan Smith in that group, I mean, they clean up everything. And when you give them a free lane, a free shot at the running back and quarterback, it just makes life almost unbearable trying to move the ball against them. So far, to me, they've got the second best defense that I've seen in the SEC behind Alabama. I think Auburn's right up there with Georgia, so that kind of gave Mississippi State, again, a good look at what they'll see Saturday. But, Georgia does a lot more stunts, a lot more motioning, a lot more movement up front on defense than LSU did.
Talk about the impact some of the Alabama natives are having on the Mississippi State team. Keith Mixon certainly comes to mind, but Nick Gibson is also a running back on that squad, right?
Yes, and they've done very well. And Darrell Williams is a starting left guard, and Darrell's had a very, very solid season so far, and he's been one of the surprise guys, Darrell Williams, that is, for Mississippi State this year. And not to say surprised, because Darrell was very talented coming out of high school, but he was coming off that neck injury, that scary situation last year. You didn't know how he was going to respond, but he came back strong in the spring, had a great training camp, and grabbed that starting job and hasn't let go. And, Keith's been a solid weapon for him at slot receiver, and Nick Gibson had the most success of anybody running against Georgia, and had I believe his career-long 39-yard run against Georgia. So he's starting to slowly earn more reps in that backfield, and they've done well recruiting the state of Alabama, especially that class that Keith and Nick and Darrell are all in.
Yeah, and plus they're getting a guy next year in LaDamian Webb from Beauregard High School, which ironically is very close to Auburn. And this is a guy that I think he's going to surprise a lot of teams in the SEC. A little undersized, but very strong and difficult to bring down.
He is, and LaDamian is going to be that change of pace back that Mississippi State desperately needed, I think, in that backfield and then for their future, because Arius Williams, Kylan Hill, Dontavian Lee, Nick Gibson, those guys kind of bring, I think Nick's got a little bit more wiggle to him when he runs, but those four guys are your prototypical power back, good vision, hit the hole hard, those type of styles, whereas LaDamian is going to bring a different package. He's going to bring a different style of running. He's more of your scat back type of guy that's going to make plays coming out of the backfield in the passing game as well. So I thought that was a very good addition, and like I said, a need for that spot, because they kind of went away with getting another power back in this class, and I thought LaDamian was a perfect fit for them.
I know Nick Fitzgerald struggled against Georgia, but have you seen him this year and can point to some things to say he's a better quarterback now than he was last year?
I think he is, just from a mature standpoint and being able to read defenses. There's no denying that his passing still has to improve, especially in the vertical passing game, and that's going to be a point of emphasis moving forward, because teams, it's one thing for your lower tier SEC or your non-conference teams to stack the box against you. But when you have teams like Auburn and Georgia with their defenses, and Alabama, when they start stacking the box and try to dare you to throw, then that's going to be a tough living, and that's going to be a tough way to try to move the football. But, he's going to have to hit some of those passes just to loosen up the defense. But, I think Nick has come a long way from last year, and more of it is in his confidence, his ability to command the offense, and just feeling more comfortable in that role this year compared to last year, where he was in a 3 or 4 man race all the way up to training camp, and even faced that early in the season until he became the guy about midway through, and just having that part of it behind him, and just knowing that this is his team, this is his offense, I think it's done a world of wonder for his confidence.
This being Todd Grantham's first year in Starkville, are you impressed with him so far? What do you think?
I am, and the biggest thing to me, they had some misfits and missed assignments against Georgia, and then Georgia exposed it. But, I thought once outside of settling down, they did a decent job against Georgia. The scoreboard didn't reflect it, but they were put in a lot of bad positions because of the lack of offense the state was able to produce. But I think the biggest thing that's impressed me was outside of Montez Sweat, defensive end, and outside of Jonathan Abram, a safety, it's basically the same guys, but he's found a better fit for him in the right role, and I think that's paying huge dividends for him. You know, for example, Gary Green, outside linebacker / DN, he's in that hybrid role this year. Gary was inside last year and didn't have much of an impact, but they're using him on the edge this year, and he's playing much better, more comfortable, more confident in that role, and it fits him better with his length and his speed. And then J.T. Gray was very undersized at linebacker last year. This year they've moved him to that safety position where he does help a lot in run support, but he's such a much better fit, especially size-wise, at safety than linebacker. So for me, that's been the biggest factor. They're more aggressive. They take more chances. They bring more blitzes. They have different looks than they did a year ago. But I think putting guys in the right position to be successful has been his biggest difference.
That's Paul Jones from Bulldogs 24/7. Paul, thank you so much.
Anytime, guys.
Thank you very much. Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Your comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced heat and air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our #1 concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
Hi, this is Quinn Harrelson with Interlink Mortgage in Auburn, Alabama. There are 1,000 different questions people ask me every day about mortgage loans. They ask about buying investment homes, primary homes, and even second homes at the lake or the beach. I only have a limited time to say, call me and let's talk about what you want and how I can help you get it. Again, win with Quinn and call me today at 256-675-6259 so I can help structure a mortgage that best fits you and your family's needs.
Game day. Last season you were watching football at the mercy of that loathed cable company and your weird roommate with the ornery chinchilla. But today you're going to watch wherever the Wild you want. You go here, Wild Wind Cafe. They've got all the games on more screens than you can count. And cute roommates. This is just the Wild you need. So go wild, superfan. We can't help you choking QB, but we do have cold beer.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Got to get to Gills. Selection and price. Got to get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills. Cars that fit your budget. Service that no one around can beat. Stop by today and test drive the vehicle of your dreams. Gotta get to Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Gotta get to Gills. Selection and price. Gotta get to Gills. Gotta get to Gills.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Oh, you just that's your lead-in, just to turn very slowly in my direction.
Yeah.
I told him right before this, I said, I want to say something, and he just sort of gave me the Vincent Price or creepy ventriloquist dummy turn right to me. But anyway,
that's my signal.
You know what I was going to say? Obviously, we check social media during commercial breaks, and I've seen a lot of people still talking about the NFL, and apparently somebody on Fox News night said the NFL is soon going to stand for no fans left. And I don't think that's true necessarily, because the NFL has so many other avenues for revenue streams, like fantasy football and merchandise and the way they merchandise everything under the sun. They don't necessarily have to have fans show up at the game, which that's been a problem for a while now. Even the Steelers game, you show a Steelers game, it looks empty all the time. But I think that's more of an epidemic about football in general that's trickled down into college. Let me tell you something. I went to the Alabama-Vandy game, and I'm not kidding. It was 80% Alabama people. That's okay. I think we can all live with that Vandy doesn't go to the game. Did anybody watch LSU-Syracuse? There was nobody there. There was nobody there. It was a night game at LSU. It was supposed to be the most raucous place to play college football at night. There was nobody there. It looked half full, if that. Tennessee, Massachusetts. Yes, it was an 11 o'clock kickoff. Yes, Tennessee had just had their heart broken by Florida, and everybody's kind of mad at Butch Jones right now. If that place was a third full, I'll be shocked. They tweeted a picture right before kickoff. This is one of the Tennessee beat writers, and it was as empty as it could be. It looked like it was a Milli Vanilli cover band concert that they were going to. Auburn, Missouri. There was look. I know Missouri may be the worst SEC team I've ever seen that actually attempts to play football. We talked about that. I've seen teams quit before that are worse teams, but this Missouri team is so bad, and so I don't blame their fans in a way. But in another way, it's still early in the season, and they just didn't show up for the game.
They've mailed it in, the fans and the players.
The players too, but the players cared a little more than I thought they would, but there was nobody there. Georgia had a good crowd, but everybody sort of rejuvenated in Georgia again. I've seen Georgia this time of year recently have some lax crowds. What I'm saying is, and I can tell you right now, Alabama, Ole Miss, 8 o'clock kick, I'm not going. I can't go. I got a 1-year-old child. I can't go to an 8 o'clock kickoff. Football games either start too early or too late, and there's too many other things to do now. This all needs to get back to more of a uniform kickoff time of everybody kicks off around 12 o'clock or 2:30 or 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock-ish. It may be a 7 o'clock game, a 7:30 game. Maybe something we can bet on late, in the West Coast, that's cool. But this stuff where you have an SEC game at 8 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock in the morning is bunk. And it's also maybe more symbolic of how we're all looking at going to games right now. We've all got great TVs. We can all flip over and see another game. We don't have to sit there for a 59-0 blowout.
You know how video killed the radio star? Well, HD may have killed football.
And wouldn't that be ironic if HD, the thing that everybody loves so much to watch more football, actually killed football? I don't think it'll kill football, but I think what it may do is everybody will maybe go to some smaller stadiums again. Heck, Alabama seats 102,000 people or whatever. It'd be fine with me if we sat 80,000 people and the tickets were a little harder to come by and the people that wanted to go actually went. Because if you put 80,000 in Bryant-Denny right now, it looks like 24,000 didn't show up. And you'd notice the 24 that aren't there more than the 80 that are. And you'll see the same thing, Auburn against Mercer. There was not a good crowd for homecoming. There just wasn't. I saw it.
I was not there.
Yeah, and you go to games.
And I go to games.
But who wants to go to see that? And I get it. There's too many other things to do. But I'm just saying.
There's a lot. This may be a perfect storm. There are a lot of factors coming into play here. CTE continues to build. Aaron Hernandez, advanced CTE. Now he's killing people. People kneeling, quote unquote, not respecting the United States flag. Growing discontent with salaries that are going through the roof. Maybe. Again, I'd like to say, hey, maybe this will be a sea change for the United States. Hey, maybe teachers will start getting higher salaries and professional athletes will start playing for $50,000 a year It ain't going to happen.
No, it's not, because nobody wants to sit for 3 hours and watch somebody else go to class.
No.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, is marketing dollars. That's where the money is. But, you know, there's something else in there. We have become a society that you either win the Super Bowl or you're god-awful. It doesn't matter if you know, everybody just remembers the Falcons for their epic collapse, and they forget the fact that they won the NFC and went to the Super Bowl. For instance, Kentucky last week loses to Florida, heartbreaking fashion. It was just awful. If you're a Kentucky fan, I am really sorry. That just sucked. I don't know what another way to say it. Can I say that?
Yes.
I think I can. I just did.
That's the perfect analogy.
And it was terrible. It was bad on all levels. But see, what's going to happen now is everybody's going to say, you know, there goes Kentucky. They'll go to the Peach Bowl, or they'll go to the, you know, CarQuest Bowl.
Music City.
But that's not awful. That's why I keep saying, everybody says there are too many bowl games. They're not really. I mean, let some of these teams that don't play for a national championship have something else
When
to play
there
for.
are so many bowls that you don't have enough eligible teams, there are too many bowls.
Okay, but you understand, right, that the reason there are so many bowls is because there's sponsors willing to invite two teams to play. And so what harm is it?
Because you have money
What
doesn't
harm
mean
is
you ought
it?
to set it on fire.
They're not setting it on fire. They feel like they're getting something back. They're not doing it altruistically.
Oh, all they're getting, well, I mean, look, I understand. They're getting advertising.
Right.
That's the main thing, because they ain't making money on
And
the
we
bowl
love
game.
advertisers here at
We
Sportz
do,
Blitz.
absolutely, and LMG. But all I'm saying is we, you know, you used to, well,
Look, Andy, let me put it to you this way.
I'm not saying I'm fine with it.
If I thought it benefited Robinson Iron to have a bowl game in my backyard, and I wanted to invite Wisconsin, Whitewater, and Mount Union, and you don't want to go, so be it. But if I thought it benefited me in those markets, what harm does it do?
Well, how about let's just share? How about two corporations sponsor a bowl game?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine
we
with
don't
that.
have to have 50 bowls.
But I'm fine with that, but that's kind of like somebody being a financial advisor and a suit maker. I don't know that I want Merrill Lynch to partner up with the Men's Warehouse.
Could be a dangerous combination. Oof. Well, I don't know.
But
Where
my
were
point
we?
was, there are people going to fewer sporting events all over the place. It's not just the NFL because people are tired of the NFL. I think that it was weird to me to see LSU be about 70% full the other night. Against Syracuse, it's not okay. Syracuse is not good, but they're a named team. It's not like they brought in, you know, some dump truck university.
In fairness, the people in LSU know what's coming.
They do, and they know they got Ed Orgeron as a coach. Yeah. But I would go to voice my displeasure, and also it's nighttime in Baton Rouge. That's a big deal. Garth Brooks sings about it. It's a big deal.
Whether you're drunk in the stadium or drunk on the street, what does it matter?
I like being drunk in the stadium. It's okay. It's not bad.
Up against the break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with one final segment of Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Why buy your next car from Lynch Nissan of Auburn?
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
When you're born, you're really young. You're like 0 years old. My grandma tells me to quit growing up so fast. But what can I do about it? My mom keeps throwing me birthday parties.
Russell Medical, comprehensive care in your corner of the world.
Sure Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Sure Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City. This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of Sportz Blitz Live. We got so much, got into talking about so much with Auburn. With Chuck Purse and everything that was going on, I hate not to even mention, but a huge win for Benjamin Russell this week, this past Friday night over Opelika.
Monstrous.
I mean, 19 have a 19-0 lead. Gets interesting. You know, you played pretty well for 47 minutes, but you need to play that extra minute.
There's actually, this couldn't have worked out better for Coach Horn if you ask me, because they get the 19-0 lead, and then Coach Horn gets to say, you see what happens when you take your foot off the gas for just a minute? When you take your eyes off the road for just 1 second, here comes the other team if they're talented enough. And I think that this turns out to be a great teaching moment for him. But they've got a tough one this week in Oxford. I mean, Oxford, they had one of our players of the week, Kadori Glenn, and then they've got Clay Webb, who is one of the best offensive linemen in the country for next year. So, they're going to be tough.
Dadeville got back on the winning ways against Holtville, 48-26. Horseshoe Bend took care of Rambert, 28-15. Reeltown falls to Lynette, 43-20, and the beat goes on for Central Coosa, unfortunately, 46-0, Beulah. I mean, it's rough.
Why do you hate Central Coosa?
I love Central Coosa.
Okay.
I feel for them. Okay. My heart goes out to them. The worse there than it is at Ole Miss. But anyway.
No, look, I'm going to go back to, if your heart goes out for anybody this week, it's Kentucky. I don't think I've ever seen defeat ripped from the jaws of victory like that before. Really,
watch a Kentucky game every year from here to the last 20
I've
years.
Never seen 2 men left wide open like no. When people say wide open, they've been covered. There was nobody over there. And then to get in field goal range and to have a bogus holding penalty, it was not a good call. I mean,
it was a good call.
Look,
he dragged the guy to the ground.
It wasn't that bad, and you've seen worse. And for them to make that call in that moment was kind of crazy.
The problem was the hole was about six feet wide.
I know.
And that's what made it so visible.
And he didn't need it.
No.
So, I mean, it was all, oh, man, I just felt so. And then to have the kicker kick it, and it's dead on, and as I'm watching, I'm thinking, he did it, and he's 5 feet short. Oh, my God. It was the saddest. It was so, there ought to be a memorial for that game.
Well, the look on McElwain's face at his end was like, we should not have won this game.
We ought to have a reflecting pool where we can all sit around and just think about that game.
Whew. It was rough.
McElwain, I'll tell you, and here's the thing about McElwain. Some people are just, man, They're just lucky. He's just lucky. For all the things I said about Auburn 2013, McElwain is more than that. He may not get him to the mountaintop, but he's hovering around with some Sherpas.
As Luke mentioned, Oxford 5-0 at Benjamin Russell 4-0 Friday night. Valley, who's 1-4, at Dadeville, who's 3-2. Holtville 0-4 at Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend gets a chance at Holtville this week, 2-2. Let's see, Central Coosa open. No, I take that back. Just Reeltown. Thorsby 4-0 at Central Coosa 0-4. Probably not going to turn out well.
Well, you've little faith.
Yeah, you'll pick them in the paper, won't you? Okay. Well, it's been an eventful show. We appreciate so much all of you out there. It's been a long day, and we'll. Anything else before we go?
Free Chuck Person?
No, lock him up. For Ryan Fuller, the man behind the glass, for Luke Robinson, the man in the chair, I'm Andy Graham. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.
Even the best of us forget sometimes. But buckling up is one thing you always want to remember.
Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
In car ads, what is this? It discloses what you're not going to get that you thought you were. At Hyundai of Auburn today, buy a Santa Fe SUV. Get $4,250 bonus cash, period. Here's our disclosure.
Hyundai of Auburn's your straight talk dealer. $4,250 to spend however you'd like. Plus, most Hyundai of Auburn cars are built locally. Free major repairs for 10 years. Supporting the local economy and thousands in bonus cash to spend. Compare HyundaiofAuburn.com.
Lake Area Realty is Lake Martin's Century 21 real estate company that proudly serves all the Lake Martin area. Rhonda Gaskin and her staff of caring professional realtors offers full sales for buyers and sellers in the area and can even help you with finding rentals or managing your current property. Whether it's your dream lake home, waterfront property, area family home in town, or just a starter home, Lake Area Realty can handle it all and advise you on all your needs. Buying and selling real estate is important to the professionals at Century 21. Lake Area Realty are your friends in real estate. Call or visit lakearearealty.net.
Your comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our #1 concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you. Homeowners all over Alabama have discovered that when you need your flooring clean, whether it's carpet, upholstery, or any manner of hard surfaces, there's no clean like Peaches and Clean. Serving Auburn, the Chattahoochee Valley, Montgomery, Birmingham, and the Lake Martin area. Call 866-837-6937, 866-837-6937, or visit peachesandclean.com. Caring for your floor and a whole lot more.
There's no clean like Peaches and Clean.
The Car Stereo Shop in Auburn is more than your car audio and video headquarters. Everything you ever wanted for your boat, including speakers, amps, and subs from brands like Sony, Kenwood, Memphis, Kicker, Polk Audio, power speakers from Kicker, Skyline, and Wet Sound, underwater lighting from Ocean LEDs and Shadowcaster, and for your ATVs, side-by-sides, and motorcycles, the best in power sports products and lighting. How about a custom tailgating package or a custom-built mobile office? Where your imagination becomes reality, the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn.